Good morning, children. In last class, we learned about metals, non-metals, their physical properties and their chemical properties, how they are reacting with water and oxygen. These all we discussed, right? And today, we'll see some more chemical properties of metals and non-metals we are going to discuss. And especially, how the metals are reacting with acids. How non-metals react with acids, we'll see, children, today. So our today's topic is reaction with acids. First we'll see about metals. How the metals reacts with water. Acid. How the metals react with acids we'll see now. To understand this, we'll do one small activity. For this, you need 6 different test tubes. Take different test tubes and name them as A, B and C. You took 3 different test tubes, or else take 6 test tubes. We'll see at a time with non-metals also how they react with acids. Name them as A, B, C, D, E and F. Okay, children? How the metals and non-metals react with acids. To understand, we are doing the activity. And in first test tube, you take magnesium ribbon, small magnesium ribbon you take. And second test tube, aluminium wire you take, little small aluminium wire. And third test tube, take some zinc granules. And fourth test tube, take copper. And fifth test tube, take sulfur powder. Okay. And last test tube, you take charcoal powder you take. So as you all are well aware, magnesium is metal, aluminium is also metal, zinc is metal and copper is also metal. The last remaining 2 are non-metals. Now how they react with acid we'll see. Take 5 ml of HCl and add in each test tube the same amount of HCl. So what you are adding here? HCl you are adding in each test tube. And after adding HCl, you see what happens. Observe these test tubes. Hold the test tube from down and see. Are you feeling any warmness? Is this reaction is exothermic? You try to find out. When our physical class starts, definitely we do this experiment in our lab. Now I'll tell you what actually happens. Whenever this magnesium, for example, you see, when magnesium is reacting with HCl and it releases the magnesium chloride, MgCl2, magnesium chloride plus Cl2. To balance the equation, 2L is written here. So MgCl2 is formed. Now the leftover is H2. H2 is released, hydrogen gas is released in this reaction. If we take the aluminium, also shows the same reaction. When aluminium is reacting with HCl, AlCl2, aluminium chloride plus hydrogen gas is released. When zinc, if you take, zinc also shows the same reaction. Zn plus 2HCl and ZnCl2, zinc chloride plus hydrogen gas is evolved. How we can confirm that the released gas is hydrogen only? How can we conclude that? To conclude this, you bring one burning matchstick. Bring one matchstick near to the mouth of test tube. Light the matchstick and bring near to the mouth of test tube. And you can see this burning matchstick gives a pop sound with brilliant light. This pop sound comes because of the hydrogen gas which is released by the reaction of metal and acid. The brilliant light and the pop sound tells us that the hydrogen gas is released from this reaction. Now, if you take copper, it won't show very quick reaction with HCl, as how the magnesium, aluminum and zinc are showing the fast reaction with acid, and when we come to the copper, it won't show that quick reaction. What's the reason? To understand this, you should understand about the reactive series of metals. Which metal is very reactive? To understand that, we'll see one table, reactivity table. We'll see how the metals are, which metals are more reactive, what is the reactivity series of metals. We'll see now. Reactivity of metals. We are going to see the reactivity of metals. So which metal is more reactive? That will come in the top of the list which I am going to give you now. So they are like this it will come. K means you all know. Which metal K means? Symbol of K is potassium. Potassium symbol is K. Latin name for potassium is kalium. That's why symbol is coming as K. And Na is sodium. Sodium Latin name is natrium. That's why the symbol is coming as Na. And Ca is calcium. Ca is calcium. Symbol for calcium is Ca. And Mg means magnesium. Mg is magnesium. And Al is aluminium. Al is aluminium. And then in this way the metals are coming. Zn means zinc and Fe means ferrum, iron. That is iron. Latin name is ferrum. That's why the symbol is coming as Fe. This is Fe means iron. And Sn means tin. Sn means tin. Stanium. The Latin name is tin. Latin name is stanium. That's why the symbol is coming as Sn. And Pb is lead. The Latin name of Pb, lead is plumbum. That's why the symbol is coming as Pb. And H, you know, hydrogen. Hydrogen. And Cu means copper. And Hg means mercury. Hg means, here I'll write, Hg means mercury. Mercury, Latin name is hydrargyrum. That's why the symbol is coming as Hg. And next one is Ag means silver. That means argentum. Silver, Latin name of silver is argentum. That's why symbol is coming as Ag. And Au means gold. That is Rm. Symbol of gold is Au. And the last one, Pt is platinum. platinum. So in this way, when the metals are coming down like this, the reactivity decreases. So the first metal which is in this list have highest reaction. Reactivity is more for this. When it comes down in this table, the reaction is coming down slowly. Then how can you remember all this? To remember it, a small abbreviations you can keep in mind so that all the metals you can remember, and which metal is more reactive than the other metal you can understand. For that you can say Kanaka, Mange. K means Kanaka, Na means Na, Ka, Kanaka, Kanaka, Mange, Alu. Kanaka, Mange, Alu. When you remember that, you can get the first letters, the symbols of each metal, so that you can remember the reactive series easily. And next one, Jan fair soon pub hai. A Hindi translation, the sentence, if you remember the Hindi sentence, you will get all the metals in an order. Jan fair soon pub hai. Kyun hug? क्यों हग? आगे आरम और प्लैटिनम. जान फेर सून पब है, क्यों हग? आगे आरम और प्लैटिनम. Understood? It's so easy to remember the metals in the reactive decreasing order. Okay. So now you can understand that just now we had seen how zinc, aluminium and magnesium reacting with HCl, and why the copper will not react like other metals quickly. Copper, I said, copper will not react so quickly with HCl like how magnesium and aluminium and zinc granules are reacting. In such a way, copper will not react so quickly, I told you. Why? Because the reason is, when you see the magnesium, it is above the hydrogen. When you see aluminium, it's also above the hydrogen. That means they are more reactive than the hydrogen. Yes? And when you see zinc granules, they are also in the list in reactivity series, they are also above the hydrogen. So they are also more reactive than the hydrogen. That's why they will react quickly. Even with water. When we discussed how the metals are reacting with water, also you can understand there they are reacting very quickly with hydrogen because they are more reactive than the hydrogen. And the metals which are down of this hydrogen in this table, they cannot react so quickly with water or with hydrogen or with any acids which have the hydrogen molecule in them. In such a case, when we take copper, it is below the hydrogen in the table. That means it is less reactive than the hydrogen. That's why to continue this reaction, it takes little time to complete that reaction. Understood, children? So, remember this reactivity series of metals, and you can do a number of equations by if you keep this reactivity series in your mind. Now we will see how the metals are, non-metals are reacting with acids. We'll see how the metals reacting with acids you understood now. You understood reactivity series. Now we will see how non-metals react with acids. How non-metals react with acids we'll see now. Now we will see the reaction with bases. Reaction with base. How the metals and non-metals react with base we'll see. To understand this, we'll do a small activity. Here you take sodium hydroxide, 3-4 pellets of sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide symbol is sodium hydroxide, NaOH. NaOH, sodium reacts vigorously, you know. So this to be demonstrated by your teacher, or when you are handling with the sodium, you be careful. So what you are supposed to do, NaOH you take and add some water to this. Stir it well till NaOH get dissolved in that, and that solution, this aqueous solution of NaOH, aqueous solution, in this aqueous solution of NaOH, you add few drops of zinc granules. Zinc granules you add and observe the reaction. Okay. By this activity you can understand that the metals, when they react with the aqueous solutions of bases, they are forming the salts plus water. When metal reacts with base, they are forming metal salts plus H2O, and some energy is produced. Okay, this way the metals are reacting with bases. You'll read more about how the metals, non-metals reaction with base. You'll read more in class 10. The same type of reaction you also learned in class 7 as neutralization reaction. Neutralization reaction, when an acid and a base reacts, they form a salt plus H2O. You remember this? For example, if we see a base as NaOH plus acid you take as HCl, then it gives rise to NaCl plus H2O. This is the neutralization reaction example you learnt in class 7. Same way, the metals are reacting with the aqueous solutions of bases. Whereas with acids, how the metals are reacting with acid, you had seen with different metals like zinc, magnesium, aluminium, copper, we had seen the example. The same can also react with dilute sulfuric acid, H2SO4 also they can react. When you see about non-metals, they will not show any reaction with acid at all. And here when we see the reaction with base, the metals can react with the aqueous solution of base, and then they are forming the salts. Understood, children? So in our today's class, we learnt about how the metals are reacting with acids, how the non-metals are reacting with acids, how the metals are reacting with base, and what is the reactivity series you learnt. So whether you understood this or not, to test, I'll give you some equations. Here I'll write only the reactants of that equation. I'll give you the reactants of the equation. You need to find out the products of that equation. Okay? So your homework is write the products of the given equation. So Zn plus HCl what are the products you find out. And second one, Al plus HCl, find out the products. And third one, okay, zinc plus H2SO4, what are the products? Try to find out. And next one, potassium plus hydrogen, what are the products? Find out. And the last and final one, phosphorus plus H2O, what are the products? So this is your homework, children. Try to find the products of this equation. In tomorrow's class, what are the displacement reactions means, how the metals are displaced by the other metals, and what are the uses of these metals and non-metals we'll discuss. Thank you, children.